on Sacred Socials. I am your host, Lisa Robertson, international best-selling author and debt creator. And today we're going to talk about something that I have been posting a little bit about in my short videos here on YouTube. And that is how to find that one person to talk to and really thinking about what it means to know who that person is that you're either writing your content for, creating your reels, writing your newsletter, or drafting a blog. And one of the mistakes I see a lot with clients who come to me for either writing advice or for social media strategy work is that they're trying really, really hard to talk to one too many people. They're trying to solve a lot of problems at once. They're trying to figure out how to speak to an audience as opposed to how to just reach that one person in the room. And when you can get that one person down, everything else becomes so much simpler. And I wanted to give you an example of what I'm talking about when I say we write, we talk, we film to one person and one person only. Because I know a lot of people go, but I don't want to just talk to one person. I need to fill a program of 20, or I want to write a marketable book, or I want a lot of people to come into my blog. But I want to give you an example of how this works and why it works. Okay? So I'm going to give you an example here of my own book, Tarot Healer. Now, this is actually a book, it's not a blog or anything like that. But when I sat down to write this book, I sat down to write to one very specific person. I literally wrote this book for one person. I had this one person in mind, and I wrote this entire, I don't know, 75,000 word book just for them. And the reason that I wrote this book for them, because at the time I had closed my own personal Reiki practice, and this person I had trained to do some chakra work, some very specific chakra work, and I was actually getting a little sick and tired of constantly saying the same thing all the time. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to actually put it into a book. And this is everything that I want this person to know. So while I was sitting down and drafting it, I pitched it to my publisher, which obviously they took because now it's actually a real book and it has been a real book for quite a few years now. And not only has this book sold incredibly well, it still sells very well, but it's been translated into multiple different languages. And I did not set out to write this book for a group of people. I did not set out to write this book for people across the globe. I wrote this book for one person. But because I was so clear on what this one person needed, it made it accessible to thousands of other people. And this is the power of knowing who your one person is. So let's think about that again a little bit more slowly. Knowing who your one person is, keeping your content really focused on that one person, means that you have a better opportunity of actually reaching more people, as opposed to trying to write to a lot of people and not reaching anyone at all. So one of the things I want you to think about as you look at your own content is see if you've nailed who that one person is. And I don't mean this from an avatar perspective, because I know that that is tossed around a lot in business conversations, niche down, find your avatar, build around your avatar. That's not what I'm talking about, because every time you sit down to write, it could be a completely different person you're speaking to. And If you're creating an avatar, you're restricting your voice, you're restricting your message, and you're constraining your content too much. Whereas if you were to sit down today and think about a reel or blog post or even a live like this, who is that one person that you just want to talk to in that particular content? Who is it? What information do they need? Why do they need it? What problem does it solve? And how is this information going to assist them to either get unstuck, create movement, get clarity, or solve whatever problem that happens to be? And I do think that if you can do that every time you sit down to create something, you're going to end up with much, much better content. Well, not think. I know you're going to end up with much better content than what you may be struggling with right now. Because my one person today that I'm talking to is that person who really gets stuck on what they're meant to be writing. Okay? They really get stuck on what they're meant to be writing. And the reason that they don't know what to write is because they don't know who they're writing for. So this is one of these big, big bubbles. This is my one person I am talking today. If you are that person, if you are that person who sits down all the time and you just don't know, you're struggling to know what to write today. How do I create this reel? What do I put in this carousel? How do I write a script for this YouTube video? What am I posting on Facebook? What do I put in stories? What do I put on Substack? Yada, yada, yada. It's not it's not about you, right? That's the big thing. It's not about you. Who's the person you're talking to? Who is the person you're talking to? Because the moment you know who you're talking to, your content's going to click in. It's just going to click in, just like that. It's going to be like, oh yeah, maybe it's Sarah. Let's just give this person a name. I'm going to write this post as if I was talking to Sarah today. I know what her problem is. I know what questions she asks me all the time. I know that this is pretty common because Sarah's not the only one who asked me about this, but she's who I'm writing this for today. She's the person I'm speaking to today. And when you get that sort of clarity, you don't worry about what you're going to say anymore because it clicks in, it just locks in just like that. And, I have learnt this from writing so many books that if you can just have this one person, then everything else becomes easier. Now, you might be wondering, how do you actually find that one person and how do you begin to write to them? I am glad you asked. I am running a 5-day writing event starting on February 23. You do not have to show up live. This is not something that you have to commit to at a specific time. I'm running it straight through my private Telegram group. You just log in once a day, get the content, get the questions, get the prompts, go do the work. Then the next day, come in, answer the questions again. One of them will be, how did you go with the day before's lesson? And you keep moving on. And in that 5 days, we're going to find your one person to talk to, and we're going to write the first 1,000 words. Okay, so we're going to find your person and we're going to write 1,000 words. Now, that 1,000 words might be a blog post, it might be the start of a book, it might be knocking out a series of social media posts, it might be scripting some reels. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you're going to get those first 1,000 words to kickstart your 2026 writing. Because I'm really passionate about this. I just feel there are so many healers and authors and creatives out there who have so much to share. They have so much to share, and your audience wants to hear from you. They're desperate to hear from you. They want to hear your opinion. They want to know your beliefs. They want to understand your process. They're looking for tips and tricks, but you're on the other side of the screen, really twisting yourself up in knots, worrying about what to put out into the world. And then you're probably concerned about the algorithm, but we don't care about the algorithm because when you have that one person, the algorithm doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So this system of writing takes all the pressure off you to jump through all of these hoops. So if you want to know more about that, I am going to put it below this video so you can go check out that 5 days to your first 1,000 words. I'm really excited about this. As I said, I'm passionate about getting this done. I know it works. I have proof it works. I have proof. This is the living proof that this formula works. Because as I said, I wrote this for one person. It ended up across the globe, translated in multiple languages, and it's still selling today. People still pick this book up and they tell me how much they love it, how much they get out of it, how incredible it is. And I just wrote it for one person. So I want to share this formula with you. Okay, my lovelies, this is where I leave this particular live today. I will be doing, I'm going to be doing one of these once a month so that I can come on and talk to you live about a specific topic that I have been putting up short form videos during the month for. So for February, we are going to keep focusing on this one person narrative. I do have that writing class. I highly recommend if you have really struggled in the past and you're still struggling this year, come and join us for the first 1,000 words. It really will change the way you think about writing, whether it's for publication or whether it's for social media or whether it's for your newsletter. Maybe you've wanted to start a newsletter for your mailing list and you've gotten stuck. This challenge will absolutely help you do that. So I will put some information below this video about that. But let's keep it short and sweet. Keep it within the frames of our attention spans. So write to one person, know who they are, just write to them, and you will do a lot better with your creative output. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any other questions, please put them in the comments below. If you've got suggestions or questions about a writing process, put that below too so that maybe I can do some other videos or some other lives about those topics. All right, until next time, bye for now.